Today we are going to discuss power and speed models for the bicycle performance. Why we need to study power and speed models in the bicycle design, as these models are going to use to predict the performance of a bicycles. So these models are very much important in designing of a bicycles, a structure of a bicycles, and aerodynamic shapes of a particular bicycles to achieve a more speed at a low power. So first, a power. What do you mean by power? A power is the amount of energy that can be transferred or converted per unit of times. When you talk about the bicycles, so a bicycle is ultimately a HPV, a human powered vehicles. So in this human powered vehicles, we apply a power through the pedaling. So we apply the power of force, say a force or a torque on the pedals. So then that force is transferred to the crank, and the crank is rotating, and then that power is transferred to the drive wheel, maybe a front or maybe a rear wheels. So cycling performance can be modeled and predicted fairly easily once the road forces are understood, because when you ride, it means that you are moving a bicycle from one place to another place by applying some amount of force on the pedals. So we can predict the bicycle performance if you know what are the road loads or road forces that are acting on a bicycle against the movement of the bicycles. So road loads, or you can say the road forces such as aerodynamic drag, bearing and the drivetrain friction, rolling resistance, maybe a hill climbing resist the rider's effort, maybe a change in kinetic energy or change in potential energy. So these are some forces that resist the movement of bicycles. So to move a bicycle from one place to another place at some certain speeds, first you need to overcome the such amount of road loads, and then you have to add more power to achieve that particular speeds. So if the rider is generating more power at cranks, then total resistive power, the vehicle will be speed up. Or else, if you are generating less power at crank, then the resistive forces, the vehicle will be slow down and ending at the stop positions. So to move a bicycle, we need to overcome the such a resistive force. So the object of pedaling in scientific term is to expert a propulsive force against the ground. To maintain a constant speed, the average magnitude of the force must equal to a total resisting of forward force, means total force resisting the forward motions. When you move beyond that force, a vehicle start to move. So these power and speed models are also known as the performance models that relate the vehicle speed and ride conditions to the power required of the riders. So they can predict the performance for competitive events and the potential for success in record breaking efforts, especially when we talk about some high speed or world cycling race or the Tour de France. So that is ultimately about the performance of a cyclist. So they can measure, like they can calculate what amount of power is required. Based on that, they are doing some strength training to achieve their goal or the target in a stipulated times. So there are also useful for determining if vehicle is fast or easy to pedal. Like in this case, a fast is taken to mean that under a typical operating conditions with an average rider generating the average power, the vehicle is faster than the average or a typical vehicles. Means we generate the average power in average typical conditions. So when we ride or when we exert a more power, it's slightly running the faster. And easy to pedal may mean the same thing, but often the implication is that average speed that vehicle required is less than that of the average vehicle. It means that, say for example, you are riding in a windy conditions, and there are two kinds of wind is there. One is a headwind and one is a tailwind. When there is a headwind, it resists your motion. It means that you have to apply more power. So this is what are difficult to pedal. But when there is a tail speed, it means that wind is blowing from the back of a bicycle, which ultimately what not resist the motions, but it pulls the bicycles in a forward directions. So that makes easy to pedals. Means that when average speed, the power at average speed, the power required is less than that for an average vehicles. So the external forces that resist the motion include aerodynamic drag, rolling resistance, bearing and drivetrain frictions, and change in the potential and the kinetic energy. So one can develop a mathematical model that can be developed with this particular resisting or external force that or force or factor that resists the motions, that can predict a cyclist power requirement during the cycling. Or one can predict the vice versa, that if you want to cover, or if I can generate maximum this much amount of power, then how much distance I can travel in a 1 hour, or second say that 2 hours or durations. The accuracy of predict cyclist power requirement of any models depends on the accuracy of parameters value to be used. So exactly predict the how exactly use the accurate parameters value that carry out the exact predictions of the cyclist power requirement. So in general, propulsive power required to ride a bicycle is equal to the sum of the total resistive force, or you can say the total sum of the total resistive powers. So what is the power? Ultimately it's a force into velocity. So the power required to ride a vehicle under a given set of condition is the sum of road forces acting on the vehicle, each multiplied by the road velocity of the vehicles. So driven, as we can see that drivetrain friction is not a road load, but it's a particular factor, or we can say the efficiency of a drivetrain. So that is not accounted by the for the load, but it can be accounted by dividing the required power by the drivetrain efficiency. So in generic, the road power formula is given by the total power required to ride a bicycle is equal to a sum of resistive motions, that is the power that loss in the because of the aerodynamic drag, plus power loss in the rolling resistance, plus power loss in the wheel bearing friction, plus power loss in when the kinetic energy is change, plus power loss when the potential energy is change, divided by the efficiency of a drivetrain. So we discuss each of these aerodynamic drag power, rolling resistance, wheel bearing friction power, change in kinetic energy and changing potential energy in a details in the next or coming slides. So first we discuss with the drivetrain efficiency. All mechanical device systems incur some power loss. So this is due to the friction in the chain, a pedal and a bottom bracket, bearings, idlers, gears, and if many other equipments are there. So these loads are generally not evaluated individually, but are lumped together as a system losses. So a drivetrain efficiency can be defined as a ratio of a power available at the drive wheel divided by the power supplied by the cranks. So whatever the power supplied by the crank is the power applied given by the riders, and what exactly you get at the driving wheel. The power loss between these two is known as the power loss because of the drivetrains. So drivetrain efficiency is the ratio of power available at the drive wheel divided by the power supplied by the crank. So P drive wheel divided by the P crank. Drivetrain efficiency for typical bicycle chains drives in a good conditions and properly lubricated are quite good. Even it can exceeding the 95%, and in ideal conditions it can be a more than the 98%. But condition is there, you have to do a good lubricating and you have to maintain the properly drivetrain in a good conditions. There is no rust, there is no dust in the drivetrains. So we can achieve the more amount of the efficiency. Ultimately, we require the higher the efficiency, a low power required to ride the bicycles. Or you can say that you can achieve the higher amount of work. Second most important factor is the aerodynamic drag. So aerodynamic drag is the most significant factor in power equations for moderate and the high speed riding. As you can see in the figure that a rider is riding the bicycle. So this is the amount of area, that is the whole, you can say, the vehicle. So when you ride bicycles in a conditions, this area will create the, you can say, the air resistance or a wind resistance. So this will be known as the aerodynamic drag. So the aerodynamics of cycling have preoccupied bicycle designers and riders alike since they are daily part of the century. We can say that the competitive cycling, and you can might be heard that Tour de France in a particular is sports where speed and a minimal air resistance are everything. Higher the air resistance, higher the drag, higher the amount of force is required. So as much as 90% of resistance a rider has to overcome in the aerodynamic drag. So to minimize the drag, a rider try everything from wearing a, you can say, the pointless streamlined helmet and tight fittings bodysuit to save their legs and taking unaccepted positions on their bikes. You can see in this figure. Clear? So like in a higher or competitive environment or a competitive races, or you can say bicycling competitions, a majority of power is taken by the aerodynamic drag. So to minimize the drag, riders or the humans or bicyclists can wear the streamlined helmets and tight clothing or tight fittings, that body suits, to minimize the aerodynamic drag. So the total aerodynamic drag acting on a vehicle is attributed to a several causes. First cause is the drag, a form drag. The dominant type of a drag on an unfilled vehicle is caused by the air pressure difference between the front and the rear of the vehicles. You can see in this figure that when air is flowing from this, so there is always a difference in difference in the pressure of the air between front and the back of the vehicles. So especially the high pressure air just pushes against the front of the vehicle and the riders. And if a vehicle is streamlined, then from the drag is reduced, form drag is reduced, and skin friction drag becomes the most important. It is caused by the friction of airstream as it flows past the surface of the vehicles. One more cause is the interference drag, that is produced by the flow over protrusions, bumps, hole, etc. We can take the one example is that if you place the mirror on the outside of the streamliners, which can reduce the effectiveness of an aerodynamic fairing, because it can break the streamliners or a streamlining motions and can generate the more amount of drags. So interference drag can become significant, particularly for the vehicle designed for extremely low drag. So aerodynamic drag will play important role when we have the moderate or the high speed riding. We can minimize when there is a low speed vehicles, or we can say that steep grades does not, it's having that much significant diminish. So especially when there is a moderate or high speed riding, the aerodynamics drag will play a most important role. So we can discuss the model of aerodynamic drag. So you can look in the figure. This is a bicycle, or a cyclist is riding a bicycles in this particular speed. So this is known as the bicycle speed U, or you can say that it's a DB, a direction of bicycles. You can say this is a wind speed. A wind speed here is what? Cross wind. This wind is coming in this direction. There are basically three types of wind. If a wind is flowing in this direction, means against the bicycle in the direction of bicycle movement, but against the direction of bicycles, is known as the headwind. If it is from the backside of riders in the direction of bicycle movement, that is known as the tailwind speeds. And if it is moving at any particular angle, that is known as the crosswind. So you can see in this figure that this is a wind is flowing from this particular directions. Bicycle speed is in this direction. So this is what a relative wind speed W, that is respect to the bicycle speed U, and the wind speed V. or you can say that wind speed is VW and bicycle speed is VG, means a vehicle or a ground speed on a bicycles. So the power, however, is the product of drag force, which depends on the head wind speed VH and the ground speed VG. VG is the ground speed, or you can say that the bicycle speed U, or you can say the V. So the wind component produced by the motion of bicycles, that is known as the ground speed, must be added to the natural wind wind speed VW or a V to obtain the relative wind velocity VR, or you can say that W. The drag force depends on the components of the relative wind speed that is tangent to the direction of vehicle motions, that is known as the head wind component. So head wind is what? A drag force component of the relative wind speed, that is what? Tangent to the direction of vehicle's motions. It is known as the VH. So the drag power formula is P aerodynamic is equal to 1/2 rho VH square into CD into A into VG. Here, like, we derive this formula from the Bernoulli's equation of pressure difference at the front and the back side of the riders, or you can say the vehicles. So it's a what? 1/2 rho V square. CD into A is the what? Area of drag into the drag coefficient CD, and into the VG is the velocity of our bicycles. We can say the bicycle's speed. So you can see in this figure that there are 3 different positions or postures of a bicycles, riders, and so that riders can do anything to minimize the drag. But at the same time, we have to think about the comfort also, because if you look in this figure, that you can minimize the drag, but same times you cannot increase the performance, because it is difficult to riding in this particular position or postures. So most of the bicycles are riding in this particular positions. Factor affecting the drag coefficient is the shape of the vehicles, the surface textures and the smoothness of a road, any protrusions in the airflow, the Reynolds numbers, and devices that affect the boundary layer flow. So from that equations, we can find out the crosswind and the headwind components. Given the direction of wind, we can term as the dW, and the direction of bicycle, there is a dV. The headwind component can be found by VH is equal to vehicle motions plus VW, that is the wind directions, into the cos theta. Clear? From this figure, we can say that is what? A V cos alpha. So this plus, we can say this. This is known as the headwind components. Because bicycles moving in this, air coming in this direction, so we are adding both. So it's a VG plus VW into cos a dW minus dB, where VH is the headwind velocity, VG is the ground or a bicycle speed, VW is the wind speed, and dW and dB are the direction of wind and the bicycle respectively. The term VW cos dW minus dB, this term is known as the headwind components of the natural winds, while VW sin dW minus dB is the crosswind components of the natural winds. So if you look at this particular figure, as you I think that your headwind and crosswind components are clear. Now if you look at this particular figure, that if wind is blowing from these directions, then it covers the more amount of area compared to a front or the back. So this is the case of crosswind conditions. So the relative wind strikes the vehicle at some angle to the direction of motions of the vehicle. This angle is known as the aerodynamic U angle. That is YA, that is given by the tan inverse of a crosswind to the headwind. That is equal to the tan inverse velocity of wind into sin dW minus dB divided by the velocity of ground plus velocity of ground or bicycle speed plus velocity of wind into cos dW minus dV. So this U angle is most importance to minimize the drag. Higher the angle, higher amount of drag is there, because higher the angle, it can have the more amount of area to the air resistance. So the aerodynamic yaw angle may be significant because the drag area, the product of drag coefficient area will be vary with the wind yaw angles. Depending on the vehicles, the drag area may increase or decrease. The drag force, so the drag force and consequently the power to overcome drag usually increasing, particularly at high yaw angle, even if the headwind components remain constants. So this is why a cyclist riding with the direct crosswind will not ride as fast as on a clamp day for the same power output. So higher the angle, higher the amount of drag, so more power is required. So we can take this example. You can read the statement. Cyclist of an unfit bicycles, means a normal bicycles, toward 30° northeast at 10 meter per seconds. So that is what a bicycle's movement or bicycle direction, or direction of bicycles, and the speed is given as 10 meter per seconds. The wind is from the south 180° at 6 meter per seconds. That is what a velocity of wind. Find the relative headwind and crosswind components, the magnitude of relative winds, and aerodynamic yaw angle. Also find the power required to overcome the aerodynamic drag if cyclist drag area, that AF into CD is given 0.30 meter per meter square, and the density of air is given 1.226 kg per meter cube. So what we have to find out? We have to find out the relative headwind and the crosswind component, that is what VH, and we have to find out the VCW. The magnitude of relative wind, that we have to calculate the VR, and the aerodynamic yaw angle. So we know about the dW is 180 and dB is the 30. So with the equation that VH is equal to what? A velocity of bicycles Vg plus velocity of wind into cos dW minus dB. So that is what a velocity of bicycle is 10 plus velocity of wind is 6 into cos 180 minus 30. So that we get is something around 4.8 meter per second. Same way we have the crosswind components, that is what VW sin dW minus dB. So we will get the 3 meter per second. So look at this figure. So we got this, we got this. So we can we got this. We got this component, so we will get the relative wind speed W. That is what under root square of the 4.8 meter VH plus VCW square. So we will get relative wind speed is what 8.1 meter per second, and the yaw angle is what tan inverse VCW upon VH, that will get is around the 32°. And the power required to overcome the aerodynamic drag is what 1 half rho Vs square into CD into A into Vg. So rho is 1.226, 1 by 2 into 4.8 meter square, that is a velocity 8 components, into 0.3 is a drag coefficient into drag area, into 10 is the Vg. So it's equal to the 42 watts. That is what in this particular riding conditions, to overcome the resistive force, we need to generate the 42 watt power. Thank you. That is a part 1.